Looked up and thought, I'm going to fly one of those. And I wasn't talking about the Boeing, I was talking about, I wouldn't fly a Boeing.
As I moved to Gatwick in 2018, I was asked if I would appear in an ITV documentary.
All the other wives are going, oh, I'm so nervous. And I kind of knew that this would end up being my job, because I kind of walked out the stage and went, this is my moment. And I just loved it. I came back as a fully qualified commercial pilot. I had a plan, I had something I could do.
The NHS, we're being told, is facing its biggest challenge yet. We can't just stand by and do nothing. We became known as the only good thing to happen to aviation in 2020.
I had a plan for my life. I was going to go and be a corporate lawyer. I had placements set up in London. That was what I was going to do with my life. The reality is so different, and it's the twists and turns and the changes that I've experienced throughout my life that have made me into who I am today, but also perhaps brought me to where I am today deliberately. Embrace change. None of us like change. None of us love it. You know, I've moved house 13 times in 28 years. And I hate it every time, but actually it always ends up being brilliant. I don't come from an astronaut family, I don't come from a space family, I don't come from a flying family. But it was something that I really kept hold of. And the first thing I want to say is, if you've got a dream, hold on to it and just keep going with it. Whether it's a personal dream or whether it's a dream for something else, just keep going.
Has anybody in the room been on an air squadron? I think I met someone last night. So you'll agree with me then that Yorkshire is the best, presumably.
Then the Air Force came along and said, I know, why don't you go and live 12,000 miles away from everyone you know and everything you know, to a land that you don't like because your brother's married a woman from New Zealand who isn't who you would have chosen, let's say. And I had this image of New Zealand that was based completely on my ex-sister-in-law. I spent the next 12 years of my life flying the Airbus A320 family, which is 319, 320, 321. They just get longer as the numbers go up. I got this illness. I lost my medical for 6 months. I didn't fly for 6 months. I moved to Bushy as this really disenfranchised, lost person who thought I may never walk again. Once I started to get better, I knew that I needed to be back in the air, because the air wasn't working without me, obviously. The company was clearly struggling without me there. I started to get pains in my back, and very, very stupidly, I made a really bad decision, which was, I'll get my command out of the way, and then I'll sort my back out. So at the age of 42, I failed the first thing that I'd ever failed in my life, and it was absolutely crushing. You know, I passed my driving test first time, I got all my GCSEs, I did my degree. I'd never failed at anything. I went on to become a better captain as a result of that failure. And the message from that is something that Tim's wife Helen said to me when I was in tears to her in church the day after I'd got back from this devastating sin that I'd failed. Your failures and your challenges are there to refine you and not to define you. And that has stayed with me ever since.
I was flying to Luxembourg one night, and I kind of knew that something really big was about to happen. And I left the aircraft that night, and I locked it up, and the captain's always the last one off the aircraft, and I walked down the steps and I looked back, not realising that I had just operated my last commercial flight ever. We can't be in a situation where we're all about to get grounded. The NHS, we're being told, is facing its biggest challenge yet. We can't just stand by and do nothing.
The way we change the world, which is what we're all doing, is by making little changes in the little corner of the world that we inhabit, one piece at a time. 6,500 crew providing 104 lounges across the country, which was amazing.
So just before Christmas 2020, I opened an email from the government and I was like, shit, what have I done? It was from Downing Street to say that I'd been nominated to receive an MBE. It was given to me, but it belongs to every single one of the 6,500 people that stood up every day, put their uniforms on and went in to support NHS crew during that year.